when I'm running out of time. You are where I go to slow down. You are my favorite place. You are my sacred space. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Where I go to be moved, where I go to be still. Your love makes me new. In your presence I heal. You are my favorite place. You are my sacred space. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. No walls, no war, no cause, no weapons formed, no law. What for? You are where I go to hide. You are where I go to heal. You are where I go to feel, to remember what is real. Ooh. You are my favorite place. You are my sacred space. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Ooh.
All right, all right, all right. How was that for you all? Hi, let me introduce myself. You cut it off. Thank you. Oh, you could cut it down. I like that music though.
Continue to play, Lorenzo, and I'll spotlight her.
Sorry, Papa.
You get it back.
It's okay. Sorry, that was while he gets that. How was the song? Because trauma, because it's a trauma response. It's a trauma response. And then on the right hand side, it's a little tricky, so I guess I'll do that one. It says, "Watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. Watch your character, for they become your destiny." This is the power in a thought. This is the reason why we affirm in meditation. This is why we affirm and we say these things. I am beautiful. You know, sometimes people can say I am beautiful and they can say that and they want to believe it, but they don't believe it. It's a counter. Our affirmations counter the thoughts that we think about ourselves and others daily. So if you'd like to, you can zoom in and screenshot those images to take with you. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. Okay? I'm going to read this again. Watch your thoughts before they become your words. Watch your words before they become your actions. Watch your actions before they become your habits. Watch your habits where it becomes your character. Watch your character for it becomes your destiny. And that takes us back to, what do you feel? The destiny point. What do you feel? What do you truly feel? But know that it started at that thought. At that thought. Okay. Go ahead and slide to the next one. Thank you, sis. Love this. So true. Now this is going to be really fun. So what do you currently feel? What thoughts do you believe usher in this feeling? Right? Tell your feeling story with only emojis. Right? So what you're going to do, we're going to do a test. We're going to touch our screens if we're on our phones. And at the very bottom, there's a chat. You touch the chat button and then a chat pops up. At the very bottom where it says send to everyone, we're not touching that. We're going to tap in the box and just put any emoji and press that little blue arrow to the right and it'll send it to everyone just like that. Do you have help? You don't know how to do it either. Come on. That. It's right there. Young people do. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help you out. Ooh, what happened? Okay. So if the chat is a little too tricky, you can just say happy, sad. Okay, y'all. Okay, y'all in here. Y'all in the. Okay, Christian. Some Christian peace. Okay, all right, good. So, what I tell my grandparents, I have a lot of grandparents that I work with, y'all, and they hate the phones, they hate the computers, they hate everything, and so I always include stuff like this. So they get so mad, but by the end of the day, like, I know how to send an emoji, I know how to do, and it helps generations bond. But telling the story through an emotion, my dad feels love, laugh out. Oh, see, that's funny, Summer. That's funny. So how do you feel? And also emojis make it a lot more comical and just like to take the hits that come along with life. So the next slide. Thank y'all for sharing. Light. Okay. Everything we suppress, we still express through our actions. This is what we get into. This is the whole what we get into. Everything we suppress, we still express through our actions. Everything we suppress, every thought, everything, every feeling, we still express through our actions. Lorenzo, the first video, please, the short one. Everything we suppress, we express. Everything we suppress, we still express. How about that? I'm suppressing it and I'm still displaying it to others around me and to myself. And a lot of times I'm not aware that I'm doing that.
Everything we Repress or suppress, it's still expressing at some level. You know, it's a symptom of disease, a blockage of energy towards our success. So classically, repression is done unconsciously, suppression is done consciously. The classic way we do it, as you said, we project it. What we're suppressing or repressing, we project it onto other people. We say, she made me feel this way. The world makes me feel this way. Everything we're repressing or suppressing is actually creating the world that we see on the news. It's a condensation of all of those things that we are repressing. And the other way that we deal with it is escapism. We'll Netflix ourselves to that. We'll go to cocktail parties, we'll drink, we'll go to happy hour and not be happy. But if we go into deep self-forgiveness, which means radical honesty, no blame, no shame, no guilt, no judgment, just sitting, embracing all of ourselves, just looking at it, just being with it, sometimes just feeling it without adding a story to it, with powerful observation, it leads to transformation. Those thoughts get transformed. That's forgiveness. Everything we...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any feedback about that little clip?
I like how he said, feeling it without adding a story to it. Just like, so I love that, like having your moment. This is how I feel. And I don't have to add any details. I don't have to add nothing to it. It's just, it is what it is in that moment. So that was good. The whole thing was good.
Yes. No, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Because when I get there, it's like no explanation. I'm sad because such and such, or even I'm sad. I'm just sad. I could use a hug. I could use some time, some space, you know. But yeah, it's just saying it. It's just saying it's power and just saying it and not explaining it, right? Because sometimes we really trying to explain it to ourselves. We're trying to convince ourselves. So I want to convince you, and the more people I can convince, then I don't have to deal with me. I don't have to deal with it, right? Anyone else would like to share their feedback? Thank you, sis.
Yeah, I believe that when the Bible says that we perish for lack of knowledge, those little shots like that are information or if they're informative. And if we're not focused, that's why the music that you play at the beginning, that's why the meditation that you should have us do in preparation, that we don't miss these little nuggets, because those nuggets is where you should be writing your notes. Those nuggets is where you should make sure that you let it in, because if we move in at fast paced, life is a fast pace. And so what you're giving us, we're really appreciative of. We have great gratitude for it, because you're bringing in things that we don't hear every day. That's what I thought.
Oh, thank you, Daddy.
You're welcome.
Thank you. What was the question, Grandma? Grandma had a question. Hold on. Grandma got a
I'm
question.
saying when you have these feelings, how? Instead of taking it out on someone else, or how do you deal with them, those thoughts and those feelings?
So great question. The feeling is the destination in this conversation. And so what we're saying is, I arrived at this destination from these thoughts. So I kind of like, you know, how you misplace something and you backtrack and you backtrack. So you have to kind of backtrack and say, oh, well, then maybe so-and-so this morning said this. And so maybe it started right there, or, you have to kind of backtrack. And then also when you hear the thoughts, sometimes we're so familiar with the thoughts, we hear it and we believe it. So we don't, counter it. Yeah, we don't counter it. And so it's important to counter it, but you got to backtrack. So if you're feeling sad, backtrack. Did somebody say something? Did somebody do something? Did I do something to myself again? Whatever it is, and being honest. I think the best thing to do when you're when you're triggered or feeling a way that you really don't want to feel, I think it's important to allow the emotion to come and allow it to go. Like our feelings are like visitors, right? Are like waves. They come and they go. We don't ask the ocean to stop sending the waves, but those feelings that are coming, it's our ability to release the need to control, because we want to control how we feel. And so I don't want to feel that way, especially about that or about this, or I just want to be over. I want to control the way that I feel. But when I release the need to control and I allow and say, I am sad, and then maybe I can introspect with myself and say, I'm sad because a lot of most feelings come from needs being unmet. My need for consideration. I need to be considered, and consideration and safety are my two highest needs. everybody's song is different, right? But my need to be considered and feel safe, if someone or organization neglects to do that, I'm feeling some kind of way because my need to belong or be considered or valued is not being looked at that way in my mind or heard. And I had to give you that example to try to help you understand. But what are my needs? Well, you can start by journaling. And what are my needs? What are my needs for myself? What are my expectations? My mate and my children. You know, what you write it down, because we can't expect others to know and do it without us knowing and doing it for ourselves. So I would say, when I'm feeling this kind of way, first stop, take a deep breath. First, get into the moment. Because when we're upset or when we're triggered, we're thinking about what may happen, what can happen, what also happened yesterday, and what this person did the other day. The breath is going to get you into the present moment, which is always the gift. So once I take that deep breath and release, I can then journal. I can close my eyes for some meditation. I can put on a gospel song. Music is the one thing that actually activates all parts of our brain, which is why music, a lot of industries use music. While we use frequencies and we use music, like the song we listened to at the beginning, it was a song, but most songs that I play always have a hertz in the background, and that's a vibration playing in the background, so it accommodates the words. But I hope I answered your question. Did I? Yeah. Okay, good. Any other questions? Comments or concerns? All right, next slide, Lorenzo. How y'all feeling? Look, how y'all feeling out there? While he pulling up the slide, how y'all feeling?
Feeling good.
Okay. All right, so go back one slide, Lorenzo. Is that the next one?
I'm feeling blessed.
I'm sorry, somebody said they're feeling blessed. Feeling blessed. I know that's right.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
I am.
Good, that's great. That's great. We all in the building. So the shadow work. We spoke about this before, but I didn't really go deep, and I'm not gonna go deep now. I just want to know. I want to show the importance of doing the unconscious work, because we are programmed. We've been programmed to live life and see things and places and people in a certain way, but it's our trauma and hurts that alters our true vision. So the thoughts come from not doing this shadow work. If someone can read what is shadow work for repressed emotions, because we're talking about not expressing ourselves. We're talking about not taking deep breaths. We're talking about living life with affirmations like, if it's not one thing, it's another. We're talking about the power of thoughts and how thoughts lead us to this destination and lead us to this feeling of unworthiness and sometimes oppression. And it looks different ways for everybody. So if someone can read that one, and then also someone can read the shadow self at the very top, please and thank you.
You want the one at the top first?
However if you want.
The shadow self, the dark place within your subconscious mind that contains every taboo, thought, feeling, desire, or personality trait that you have rejected, buried, or suppressed.
Shadow self. That's the part we don't like to deal with it, because we think it makes us look bad, because it don't sound like the fruits of the spirit. But God made all of us. He made the good, the bad, the indifference, and they all have their reason for being, because God is genius. It's just like everything works for the good of them that love the Lord. That's what we say. Now we learning to act like that, right? Can someone read the
So before you go to the next one, so what about taboo? What is that saying? Every taboo thought. What is that?
So taboo could be like meditation. A lot of people not now, it's being more accepted now, but before meditation in the church was like, it was taboo. It's like, what? Like, it's kind of like a way of being, and we don't go outside the box. Taboo. Okay. It's something we're in this box, and anything else is just not, it's not right, and I'm not doing it, or something like that. Taboo.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, can someone read what is shadow work for repressed emotions?
Okay, I'll read it. The shadow work meaning is as follows: working with your unconscious mind to uncover the parts of yourself that you repress and hide from yourself. This can include trauma or parts of your personality that you subconsciously consider undesirable. Anyone can do shadow work on their own.
Thank you.
You're
now,
welcome.
Shay, while you right there, can you read that one too? The shadow work, the unpaid, to the right.
Oh, okay. Shadow work, the unpaid, unseen jobs that fill your day.
And where it leave you at? Where it leave you at? What that me to say?
Empty.
Say
it. Say empty.
The shadow work, the unpaid. Man, you ain't even paying me to hold on to this grudge and all this stuff. Unseen jobs that fill my day. It's filling my day with these thoughts because I feel less than, and I'm left on E. That's why shadow work is so important. And we don't deal with it. We never speak about it. We just always talk about the good. Oh, I'm kind. I'm friendly. I feed the hungry. I do all these things. But, sometimes I can work on my patience. And be honest about the shadow self, because the shadow self creates the thoughts. Because that's where I've been operating from. So the thoughts, they come. But I have to counter those thoughts with opposites, not allow them to be as normal. Any questions? Next slide, Lorenzo, please. Your mind and heart are affected when we don't do shadow work. If God searches the heart, we should all want it clean, right?
Yep, right.
The scripture says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1:8. Test me, Lord, and try me. Examine my heart and my mind. Psalms 26:2. This is why meditation helps us. This is why meditation is not evil. This is why meditation, it helps us deal with the conscious and unconscious mind and heart. The stuff that we didn't want to look at, we don't want to see. But when I'm in that still sacred space with divine, with God, sometimes I just start crying. Sometimes I just start apologizing. Sometimes I just start asking for forgiveness. Thanking him, being grateful for cleansing my heart and giving me the ability to help others do it. Because God searches our hearts. This is why meditation is important. God searches our hearts and our minds. Next slide, please. Be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. Proverbs 4:23. And I want to thank my daddy right here in this moment, because when I got into meditation, did he challenge me? He challenged me, and it's made me really efficient in my work and my calling, because God chose me to do this. And so I learned how to tell my story with the scriptures to back it. And so thank you, Daddy.
You're welcome.
Let's see. All right. So shadow work again. I just want to remind y'all that shadow work is the unpaid, unseen job that fill your day and it leave you on empty. Okay. So in order to change our thoughts, we got to start doing the shadow work. Next slide, please. All right. So today, if anybody have any questions, you can ask questions. We'll have some in a moment. But Daddy, if it's okay, this is 30. It's 38 minutes, but I was gonna play 30 minutes of it. It goes with what we're talking about today.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. Okay. So if anyone, y'all ready to go? Y'all got any questions? Any comments? Any concerns?
They want to eat. They ready to eat.
Yes,
Working on
yes.
it. Okay. All right. Working on their shadows. Mom was saying, okay. All right. So we're gonna watch this clip. Please be in a receptive space. And thank you, Lorenzo. I'm ready when you are.
Look around the room and love the beings that are around you, visibles and the invisibles. Extend it to the Facebook Live individuals and those who are streaming. And release a sacred prayer on behalf of all these beings that they come to a greater understanding of their real nature and their real being. As you're giving this away in prayer, it's getting all over you. As the sacred law states, you only get to keep what you give away. So you are giving away blessings right now to everyone here in this sanctuary and beyond. And there's an individual sitting right next to you, not by accident. It's by design. For some reason, you're sitting next to one of those two people. Somebody's in front of you, somebody's behind you. It's by design, or somebody's near you. Look at one of those beings. Just look at the being and just say, oh my God. Oh my God.
My God.
The scales have fallen from my eyes.
Yes.
I see you. I see your divinity. I see your beauty. It's a beauty call.
The beauty call.
And you're answering. With such love, such peace, such power, such poise and confidence, such prosperity, to change the world for the better, and make a mighty difference on this planet. Let's be this. Let's do this together in the here and now. And so it is. Amen. Touch and agree. Handshake. High five. Hug. Sweet embrace. Just feel the dynamic of the feeling tone of a Sunday morning community. Gathering together, souls from all over the city, all over the world, gathering here in this precise moment to recognize the divine within us, to recognize the divine in each other, to recognize that the divine is everywhere, omnipresent, everywhere present in God's fullness, cannot parcel itself out, cannot divide itself into parts. God is omnipresent. Everywhere is the presence of God in all of its creation, but more importantly, all of creation is in the presence of God. Therefore, God is everywhere, spilling over its creation and allowing the context of omnipresence to be a birthplace of more good than we could possibly imagine. All of that is happening within you, through you, and as you right now. Thus, when we hear the theme of the month, which has been your prognosis for magnificence, you have come to a greater and greater understanding this month that God's eyes are too pure to behold inequity, and all that God sees is real and forever. And so when God looks upon you as an emanation of itself, the prognosis is magnificence. The prognosis is beauty. The prognosis is joy. We pull on the scriptural reference from Jeremiah that says, I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. In other words, there is a divine and perfect spiritual idea held in the mind of the infinite where you are concerned, its perfection unfolding. A perfect idea. As I've said from time to time, that God never repeats itself. It gets you right the very, very first time. Never does a do-over. Who and what you are is a perfect idea held in the mind of the infinite with no expiration date
always unfolding to reveal more and more of its glory and more of its perfection. So the prognosis for your life is a magnificent unfolding of more good than you can imagine. And though you may have had previously held diagnosis with a subsequent prognosis, you may have been diagnosed with a disease, may have been diagnosed as being merely human. And in that previously held diagnosis, the prognosis was that you're going to live a boring life, grow old and die, or that you're going to follow in the footsteps of hereditary patterns that your parents or your grandparents or your ancestors had. That's not the diagnosis we start off with here. Our diagnostic inner eye says you are a spiritual being first and foremost, with a human incarnation. Therefore, the prognosis from that diagnosis is you can overcome everything. You can overcome anything. You can transcend any doubt, fear, and worry that, when held on too long, coagulates into perception, and then that perception coagulates into experience. And then you think you're working against something outside of yourself, but all along you're simply dealing with the mud and the sludge of your own projection of self-loathing and lack of self-worth and the collective agreement that has been bestowed accidentally upon the human consciousness. Not you, not here, not now. That's not what your life is about. There is a prognosis that states that from the very beginning, before the beginning of time, there is and was perfection. And this is why we sometimes pray in substance, saying, show me the glory I had before the beginning of time. Let me see the glory I had with thee before the beginning of time. Let me see the glory I have eternally before time was a thing, a concept, an experience. Let me see my glory before that. Let me see my glory before my parents were even born. Let me see my glory before the foundations of the earth were even created. Let me see what I am. And from that dynamic, the prognosis is wonderful. We begin to understand, and you want to hear it directly, that you are so sacred. Oh, say that. I'm so sacred.
I'm so sacred.
Sacred geometry emanates from my center.
Sacred geometry emanates from my center.
Now, I want you to begin to consider yourself as a sacred being, a being that's an emanation of the Most High God, because so very often you bite the bait of seeing yourself as something wretched, something not good enough, something that's missing something that has some kind of original sin, something they used to teach back in the old days that we don't want to bring into the new days. We don't harbor with such superstitious nastiness. No, we come to an understanding that there's a sacredness about us. For the Spirit of the living God only recreates everything out of its own substance and its own spiritual ideation from the idea sphere, which is infinite capacity in the mind of the infinite. So you are sacred. Say, I am sacred.
I am sacred.
Sacred geometry emanates from my center.
Sacred geometry emanates from
I am whole right now. Now, here's the deal. Oftentimes, when you get caught or snagged, and you get caught up in the snag nation of individuals who have been snagged by worldly thoughts, by misbegotten notions, from the misuse of imagination, when you've been snagged by the errant thoughts that emanate from race consciousness, you often go down the rabbit hole of wretched self-condemnation, perfecting your argument about it along the way. You'll begin to say how bad it is, how bad you are. Your senses will begin to grab evidence that what you're saying is so, and then you perfect your argument about it. And if someone were to come along and say, it's going to be all right. No, it's not. You don't understand. It's not going to be okay. I've got evidence to prove how bad it is. Just the other day, I got caught by a red light. And then the day before that, this happened, that happened. Oh, everything is stacked against me. And you'll start to perfect this argument based on false evidence. And pretty soon you know you've gone down the rabbit hole of self-condemnation. And the only thing that you've perfected is your excuse, your complaining, and your argument for negativity. This is not what individuals emanating from the mind of God are about. That's developing a level of sovereignty from race consciousness, the collective beliefs of society. This is not for individuals who've come to a greater understanding of their oneness with the Spirit and are now honing their attention to see and to feel the presence of God and to begin to gather evidence that the presence is for you, the evidence that there's really nothing against you, the evidence that everything is working together for your good, the evidence that you're always getting over any circumstance or situation or obstacle. Where if you're going down the rabbit hole of self-condemnation, a part of you will gather evidence for negativity. But if you begin to look with precise intention for the presence of God, you begin to galvanize to yourself evidence that everything is working on your behalf. And as that evidence begins to be more real to you, inertia will become momentum, and you'll begin to flow and fly and glow and glimmer and shine and become spiritually radioactive with the presence that is never an absence in your life. We want you to understand that you are a sacred being right now, and that the presence of God is looking at you, looking at itself as you, and saying, you are my beloved. You are my perfect idea. You are my offspring of infinite potential. Do not block the magic. Do not block the flow. Do not block the grace. The magic, as we're spelling it today, means an intentional act to cause transformation in your life, as opposed to magic that means luck, or magic that some kind of parlor game, something to that effect. When it's spelled with that J and that K, it means an intentional act for you to cause some level of transformation in your own life, so that you're all becoming great spiritual magicians at that level, not settling for the status quo in the world, but you're beginning to say, there's something so magnificent that's within me that can actually create a highway for my perfect unfoldment. I don't care what my lying eyes are telling me about the world. I don't care what my ears are bringing to me from the misuse of media and calling it the news. I am a great magician, a great mystic, a great metaphysician, and I am creating an intentional act with my word and my thought and my action to create intentionally change within my perception and in the world as I see it. I'm rising up and I'm breaking every single agreement that I've made from my previous self, and every single agreement that I've made with society around lack and limitation and scarcity and not enoughness. I'm only holding hands with excellence. I break all agreement with mediocrity today, and I hold the vibrational hand of excellence. And this is what I see. Don't block the flow. Another name for the flow is that evolutionary impulse that governs all creativity. It's the omni-action of God. Underlying everything, there is a flow of life that's always beckoning itself into greater expression of its potentiality. Our potentiality is infinite. There is no one and done. There is no final resting place. There is no place to get to. The bliss comes from continual unfoldment and the continual releasing of the gifts, talents, capacities, the activation of powers within you, and the subsequent sharing all that is within you after you have cultivated them. You don't want to block the flow. And if you go down the rabbit hole of self-condemnation, and perfecting your argument along the way, you're blocking the flow of your magic, the intentional act to create transformation in your life. You're blocking the flow. You're getting in the way of the energy of God. Did you hear what I just said? You got to catch this now, because oftentimes from the Western world you've been trained that you have to do certain things to get God to flow in your direction, and that's not the case at all. God's always God. There never is a moment where there's a famine in the mind of God. There's never a moment when God isn't being God. You're just not in the flow yourself. You block the flow through the arguments that you perfected about life itself. And so you're getting out of the way of the flow that is always happening. Now, when you consider that, it should bring you a certain level of confidence and joy that you don't have to pray to God to be God. I sure hope God is God today, because, you know, the other day God wasn't God. You know, I knocked on the door of the higher power and God was something else, you know. God's nature had changed. God's energy had shifted up on me. God got some tiny. God got so human and started having special people and chosen people and people that in cliques and people that God liked. I wasn't in the number that day. I sure hope God is God today for me. That's superstition at its highest, you see? And so when we understand that there's an evolutionary flow, an evolutionary impulse that governs all creation, it's never not itself, that the presence of God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, it gives us a sense of confidence that when we go within and we release the self-condemnation, we release the feeling tone of wretchedness about ourselves, we come into a flow that's always there waiting for us. And then we hear, don't block the grace. What is grace? Grace is the givenness of the Spirit and the givingness of the Spirit. Grace is not something we earn. Grace is something that we become receptive to, because grace has already been given. It's already been given you. So if you put those things together, your magic, that is what you do to intentionally cause transformation in your own life, your spiritual practice. You put together flow, which is the evolutionary impulse that governs all creation. There's always a flow towards more unfoldment of the perfect spiritual idea. And you put together grace, which is the total givingness of the Spirit. It has already been given. Now the might and power that you sometimes use mentally now can subside. We don't take heaven by storm, and nor by might nor power. No, we kind of relax into it. We kind of yield to it. We kind of surrender to it. We allow it. We let it. We become aware of it. And to the awareness of the presence of God becomes the activity of our awareness. Now we are walking supremely confident that the power, the presence, and the love is for us. There's nothing against us. Now we can say, better than what I can see, better than what I can say, bring it on. Oh, can you hear that? Better than what I can see, better than what I can say, bring it on. I'm not limited now by my perception. I'm not limited by my imagination, even if it is large. And I'm not limited by my words, even if the words are fluent and articulate. Better than what I can see, better than what I can say. Bring it on. I'm ready. I'm open. I'm available. Here am I. Send me. Here am I. Take me. Better than what I can see, better than what I can say. Come what may. This will create an imperative where you'll have to break your agreements with the previous idea that you had about yourself. And then understanding you have accidentally taken vows with negativity. You've accidentally taken vows with limitation. You've made decisions from limited perception. You can break all those vows now. You can say, you know what, if it's not in tune with the fundamental harmony of my existence, I'm letting it go, baby. I'm open now. And now, here am I, available, open, and receptive. So hear this. There is already a prognosis for your magnificence. And you're now beginning to hear it. Because the presence, that's never an absence, sees its perfect idea as you and the infinite possibilities that lie within your unfolding oversoul and your evolving individual soul. It sees it. You can begin to embrace, as you're breaking all agreements with mediocrity, that your life is so sacred. Okay. Can you just sometimes wake up in the morning and instead of rushing into your to-do list and rushing into what you have to get done and rushing into how you're going to handle this and handle that, just stop and embrace that you are a sacred being. And that the wretchedness or the bad feeling that you have about yourself sometimes is not emanating from God. It's coming from the world or misperceptions. And just stop and catch your sense of the sacred. It may begin with looking at the stars. It may begin with looking at the sun. It may begin with looking at the beautiful trees and the flowers in your garden. It may begin with seeing the beauty within the eyes of your beloved friends and family and associates. It may begin there, but ultimately, you have to catch that your own very life is sacred. It may begin as you're honoring sacred teachers and you're seeing the beloved presence shining through them, but it has to come back to you. Your life is sacred. And in that sacredness, you'll hear, don't block. Don't block. Don't block the magic. That which you are constantly setting in motion for your own transformation. Don't block the flow, the evolutionary impulse that governs everything. Don't block grace, the total givenness of the Spirit that's already here. You'll hear that. Be in the flow. Always be in the givingness of the Spirit always. And when your mind starts to argue and using evidence to prove your unworthiness or your bad luck, you have to win that argument and say, oh no, I'm spiritually made. I'm awesomely made. I'm made from divine stuff. Oh, there's so much good in me, and I'm just getting started up in here. I'm just getting started up in here. And everything that comes my way to seemingly challenge that is only activating that which is latent within me, that I may become more and never less than my true self. So whether this is occurring individually in your own personal life, whether it's happening on a familial level, whether it's happening on the collective level of our spiritual community, whatever is coming up for us, it is saying there's more good within you. You haven't tapped into it yet. I'm going to help you tap into it. Here's a seeming obstacle. Jump over this. You're going to have to go way down and jump up and activate those muscles that you've been sitting much too long on. And activate your assets. Cultivate them. Get off your assets. Cultivate those gifts and talents. Let them share and shine. Oh my God. Look at your neighbor and say, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Look at your other neighbor and say, oh my God. There's beauty here. There's love here. Abundance is right here. Prosperity is right here. Wisdom is right here. Absolute joy is right here. Safety right here. Right now. Let's shine with it. Say this, better than I can see. Better than I can say. Bring it on. I'm open. Yes. 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 Absolute yes. Now, breathe in. Release. Breathe in. Release. Breathe in. Hold it at the apex of that breath. And notice now you can take a little bit more air, a little bit more in. Hold it right there. And just feel better than you can see and better than what you can say. Bring it on. I'm available. Just feel that. Now release. So your nervous system is now calibrated to beyond what I can see and beyond what I can say. I'm available to more good than I can imagine. This is a set point for you today as you're beginning this week. This is your set point, you see, as you begin this week. Now let's turn within. Place your left hand over your heart, your right hand on top of your left hand. And first repeat after me. I take a sacred and solemn vow as a spiritually sacred being, that I have all that I need, that all of my needs are met,
and all of my needs are met,
that everything is working together for my good,
everything is working together for my good,
and that I confer a mighty blessing upon this planet,
I can confer a mighty blessing
and change the world for the better.
And change the world for the better.
All my needs are met.
All my needs.
It's okay for me to be prosperous and healthy.
It's okay for me to be prosperous.
It's okay for me to be happy and enjoy.
It's okay to be happy and enjoy.
I become an exemplar of these qualities.
I become an exemplar of these qualities.
And so in this moment, based on the receptivity that has been profoundly activated in this sacred congregation, those that are streaming, those that are on the Facebook, those that are right here, we turn within in this moment, and as standing on this sacred vow that we have taken from this iteration of ourselves, there's a great sense of gratitude and thanksgiving emanating from the very depth of our being, a thanksgiving that begins with, we're so grateful that we are alive. We're so grateful that we exist at all.
Yeah.
We're so grateful that we can say, I am.
Yeah.
We're just grateful.
Yeah.
And into this sphere and this field of gratitude pours more blessings than our previous self could hold. Something wonderful is happening, and we're available to it, and beginning now to recognize the presence of God and storing up evidence to how good God is. Vibrational evidence as to how magnificent is the presence of God. Not anthropomorphic man in the sky, but a presence that is never an absence. We begin to store up this evidence vibrationally as we begin to count our blessings, and we begin to see and feel a great deal of unity with this presence. It's not far off, it's not far away, it's not in the future, it's here and now. Our life is divine. We are sacred. You are so sacred. Say, I am so sacred.
Sacred.
You are so sacred.
So sacred.
That you're beginning now to feel your oneness with the presence. And in this consciousness of oneness, I speak the word for each of us that perfectly reflects and reveals the one of us here. And that we are fit, fine, and tuned instrumentalities through which the song of life and love and liberty and beauty and prosperity and health and creativity can be sung in perfect pitch. I am what thou art, and thou art what I am. The body temple comes into alignment with this, and that celestial light begins to shine through every cell of the body temple. The mental body becomes so clear that clarity is where we live. The emotional body so pure that purity is our newfound identity for our emotional body. In the body of our affairs, nothing less than elegance, nothing less than divine order, nothing less than divine harmony and divine beauty. We accept this for ourselves and everyone else that we see. Just begin to feel now. You begin to feel now that everything is working together for our good, and it is here that we abide. Oh, we cast out all sense of tiredness. We cast out all sense of weariness on the journey. This is a new moment. A new moment. And the eternal takes over our life. Takes over our existence. Now. It's happening right now. When? It's happening. It's happening right now. Our name help them feel it on that soulful feel.
Whatever happens to you, whatever changes you're going through, there's a meaning to it all. We are not victims of circumstance. It happens to give us a chance to change and really grow and to open to God's love deep inside. God's love herein abides, and God will work through an open heart. God will work through. God will work through. Yes, will work through.
Are open, our mind is clear. Take the hand of the being next to you and feel the sacred divinity. It's emerging out of nothing and becoming the activity of our awareness. Feel the power of this spiritual community that's allowing the trajectory of our life to be on course for divine harmony and perfect peace and divine good. It is in this field of prayer that we speak the word for these individuals who have called our prayer ministry and who are working with our One from the Heart ministry, our pastoral care ministry.
All right. Okay. Lorenzo, go back to the slide. We're gonna wrap up now. Yeah, I know time. I hope everybody received something today. Our thoughts are very, very important. Our healing journey is very, very important because that shapes our thoughts. Our thoughts shape our world and what we live in. I'll take one last question to answer here and now, if anyone has any. Next slide, Lorenzo. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing time and space with me. Meditate with She. It's a great place to be. I hope you all been enlightened, inspired. Today is a new opportunity to heal and start anew and reaffirm and make new vows with the good things, the finer things, excellence, abundance, prosperity, perfect health. And keeping in mind the thoughts are very, very important. The next slide, please, Lorenzo. And again, I am Shaquilla, better known as She. Meditate with She is my YouTube channel. www.determinenow.org is my website. We offer emotional support for the entire family. So the youngest is 4, the oldest is 98. My phone number is there, 321-946-8956. Remember to breathe in and breathe out. That gets you back in the moment when you're feeling any kind of way. Breathe in, breathe out, get centered, get in a space of gratitude, allow God to flow through all your cells and your organs in that very moment and literally watch the transformation. Thank you so much for having me. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day.
Before you go, I have one question. I do have a question, one before you go.
Okay.
About understanding. The presenter, he he gave a great definition for it that I think needed just a moment of your time. He said available, open, and perceptive. In other words, that we can't get a good understanding without all three of those things: available, open, and perceptive. Could you just say something quickly about that?
Yeah, sure. So that's at the beginning when we spoke about being in a receptive space. In meditation and behavioral therapy, I know Shay would know, but when we speak to individuals, and if someone is like this and they're crossing their arms, usually they aren't receptive, or they're looking for, they're guarded, right?
Yeah.
Being in a space of receptivity is important to get the new downloads, because we've been operating on a system of pain and trauma, as we mentioned previously, and it's unhealed. So we sometimes have our guards up and are not receptive to the very thing that God is inviting us to. So it's important that we are in an acceptive space, and an open heart. The open heart is important. In order for it to open, we have to release resentment, and we have to encourage forgiveness for ourselves and others. And so we can say, I have a good heart. I do kind things for people, but remember, God searches the heart, so he knows what's there at the core. And so the open heart is important for me to receive the new download, so that I can cleanse my heart and be this new being in Christ that I want to be for so long. So receptivity, and accepting that, there needs to be a change. We spoke about adjustments. Like we spoke about it. We can't control the seasons as we age. We can't control that, but there are adjustments that we take to get to each point, each milestone. And so it's the same thing with the emotional and mental and spiritual being of ourselves. Being at church service on Sunday, it's not enough. Like, you have to do the work on yourself. So in between that time, you're still working, and you're eating emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So being in a space, of receptivity and acceptance, ushers in the healing process and the new affirmations and a new way of thinking that determines our destiny. It ushers that in. But if someone's they're not in a receptive mode, then that's saying I don't want to change. I don't want to deal with, I don't want to deal with any of that. And I'm just happy in this space. And that's to each his own, but know that God does search the heart and the mind. So in order to have an open heart, we have to do that work.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you did. No, you gave me more. You sound like a preacher. But I got also about hearing. He said, don't block the magic, the flow. I think that's so important when you talk about our hearing. And I think we need a little bit more from you on don't block the magic, the flow. He said in the flow of giving. So because if you block it, so I think he's talking about hearing. The Bible talks about in all I get understanding. So could you just talk a little bit about that as well? Right. Hearing, he said, don't block the magic, don't block the flow. Go ahead.
And that's how I understand. So if I'm unhealed, I understand based on my own experiences, right? This is all that I know. I can't get understanding if I don't do the inner work on myself, because I don't understand me. So I can't really understand you or what's going on. I don't really understand. I just know that triggered me. I did something to me, to my emotions or my nervous system. It's important that we know that we can't understand without knowing who we are fully.
Okay.
So I can't really get a better understanding about myself or anyone else until I do that inner work. So that is it connects with all the other things. I can't understand what I don't want to understand, or if it takes me out of that box. So understanding is another step. But once you accept that I need to know this, then I act on it. By changing my thoughts and affirming new things, then it just changes everything.
Absolutely. One more thing. He said life is so sacred, and that we are a sacred being, In fact, he went further. He say sacred geometry is emanating from in our spirit.
Yes.
That's the last one. And then if anybody else has something, don't worry about the time. We extended a little time, so we just want to get this in so that it can be a help to them. I really appreciate your being here. Go ahead.
Oh no, thank you. Absolutely.
Geometry.
The sacred geometry. And everyone, that could be your homework. You can look it up. Sacred geometry. I don't have one of my cards with me, but it's shapes. And if anybody has ever watched Transformers, you will connect it. It's the cube is always a sacred geometry, and they always have to go in different dimensions and things like that. We are sacred beings. We started this Zoom this AM with the NDRE song, "My Sacred Space." The more I'm in that sacred space, the more I know that it's never apart from me. God is always with me, but I get mad or triggered when I feel that He's absent from me. But my breath and knowing that I am a sacred being gets me back into that space of clarity so that God can continue to co-create with me. That which He has done in heaven, I can do here on earth.
So that we're saying that we have to make sure that we make space for our spiritual growth, for our time with the Lord. Amen. So is there anybody else up there that have any final questions? I extended a few minutes time so that you can ask questions.
Oh yeah, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, what I gather from the video is that God is and open, and the key word is open heart and mind. You have to be open to receive something different. You have to be open to be transformed. Open is the word that I received from the video.
Good. Open. Yeah, we do have to be open to change. We talk about the state of politics and all kind of things, and we say change is inevitable, but it has to start with me, the man in the mirror. So yeah, we do need to be open so that we can create new vows and that the ones that connect to what God He says. Jeremiah says it. He knows the thoughts, so it just takes us back. Any other comments, concerns, questions? Thank you for sharing, Daddy, Mom. Anyone else? So I was on my regular church service and something said, check in with she. God always has you right where you need to be. I'm reading a comment in the chat. God always has you right where you need to be. And today has reminded me that it's okay to work on me. The words of encouragement I speak over others, I can give to myself. It's so true that we tend to block our own blessings by repressing our thoughts and not addressing those inner emotions. It's okay to live in our sacred space, speak life over ourselves, our families and friends, and heal along the way. Yes, Thomas. Yes. Shay say, thank you, sis. This was relevant, amazing tools to be the best version of myself. I needed to hear this, working on how I can stop blocking the flow. The flow is tricky. It's tricky, the flow. But what I learned, a good thing about the flow is, see, sometimes we don't know who's really for us, right? And so we share things with everybody, right? But when I move in the flow, and God didn't give me instructions, or if he gave it and someone is around and he said to share it, I'm able to literally work with God, and God literally orchestrates the flow of the day from the light that I turn right to, just orchestrates everything. I just have to release the need to control and allow that flow so that I can stop blocking my blessings and the need to control. Yes, Shay, thank you for sharing that. Thomas, that is so true. Thank you for sharing yours in the comments. Any other comments, questions, concerns? It looks like y'all got it today. The thoughts are important. Be open to change in every area of our lives. Any other questions? Any other comments, concerns? Speak now, because you done did your vow. Now speak now, forever hold your peace. And that's what they say at the wedding, you done made a new vow.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Great message, Auntie. I love it. Okay, thank you. Thank y'all for having me. If there's no other questions, concerns, I hope you all enjoyed today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on, give her a round of applause.
Thank
Come on,
you.
put your hand together and thank God for this presentation today. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The enemy tried to come in and disrupt again, but we've overcome that and we moved on. Glory be to God. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just saw Benita. Thank you, Benita, for joining us.
God bless you, Benita. Okay. Before we turn over, let's go to Lorenzo. Lorenzo, do you have advertising and marketing, and then the convener come back and get ready to close us out? God bless you. Are we ready there, Lorenzo?
Oh. Hello, everyone. We are Ladies Empowering All People with Love. My name is Guyleen.
My name is Shatavia.
And we are the co-founders of Leap with Love. Our mission is to provide young girls with the opportunity to fulfill their highest potential in all aspects of their lives. We target girls between the ages of 9 to 18 years old.
We provide services such as individual, group, and family counseling, resource coordination by providing case management services, and also supportive services. We collaborate and partner up with other community agencies in the community where we host forums and we talk about different topics such as human trafficking, domestic violence, mental health, coping skills.
If you would like to stay connected with us, please join us in all of our social media platforms, such as
our website is leapwithlovefl.com. Our Instagram is leap_with_love_.
And also, if you would like to shoot us an email, our email is leapcenterofFL@gmail.com.
Here at Leap with Love, we see the value in everyone.
Grand Rising, New Day in Christ Ministry. Shaquilla Roberts, founder of Determine Now, also executive director of Meditate with She. It is my hope that you and your loved ones are doing well today. I am looking forward to seeing you all every third Sunday of 2023 to share my emotional journey with you all and enlighten you all. Tuesday and Thursday evenings, I have private clients now. One Monday of each month, I will upload a free YouTube video for all to watch. Thursday mornings, Meditate with She, Elder, Senior Citizens Edition. Thursday evening is Meditate with She with the MMA Boxers. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call at 321-946-8956. And I can also be reached at my website, determinenow.org. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Be blessed.
Thank you, Lorenzo, for uploading and providing us with those videos. And we know that every second Sunday of every month, you will have a mental health related topic presentation by myself. And then also every third Sunday, you will have Shaquilla, who presented us today with this amazing topic. What I feel full, y'all. So we thank God for that. And we encourage you all to just bring or invite someone along the way. If you would love to give to this ministry, you can do so by giving through Zelle, Cash App, and also we are affiliated with One United Bank. So there's our routing and account information. So God bless you as he leads you to give. If you would like to speak to Pastor Roberts directly, you can reach him by our messaging information and number, and then also his cell phone number is provided along with our email address. So we would love to hear from you all. And also every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. we have prayer with Leap with Love. Again, you can call my number, which is provided on the screen. Call me before 6 p.m. so that we can merge you in to the conference call for prayer every Sunday at 6 p.m. And again, just to reiterate, every second and third Sunday, we have special presentations. And again, this is what makes this platform very unique, is that, you know, God has given Pastor this way of doing something very differently. So please invite someone, just send the Zoom link and let, you know, God do and the Holy Spirit do the rest. Thank you once again. We love you all. God bless you. Every single person that decided to, you know, join us this morning. It was not by an accident. Was divine. So please, as God continue to feed you, receive it, share it. I'm going to actually pass it back to Shaquila so that she can close us out with just any final remarks, anything that we need to hold deep into our hearts. I'm going to allow her that space to do so.
Okay, great. Eyes are closed. We're in prayer pose. Put your hand on your heart. Just gonna sit in stillness, silence, and gratitude for all the openness and ideas and inspiration that we've received today. We ask that God create a new heart within us, an open heart. We're gonna be mindful of our thoughts, because they play an important role in where we are today. We're going to take a deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth. And release. Deep breath. And release. Deep breath. And release. I am a sacred being. I am a sacred being.
I'm a sacred being.
I am a sacred being.
I am a sacred being.
Amen.
Amen. Repeat after me, all of you. Thank you for being here today. God bless you. We love you. We'll pick up our contributors in the midweek. We started midweek presentation. We did it this past week with emancipation. You can check it out online. When we're having our presentations, we believe that it's very important to grant the time to the presenters to do a full service to us, so that on those 2 weeks, second and third Sunday, we're going to add another service, which will be probably midweek somewhere. So somewhere where it's comfortable for you all to join me, but who wants to join. But that way we'll do a shorter version of outreach, but it'll target specific titles like emancipation. It did on that. Not just about slavery. It's about a lot of things about free. Whom the Son set free, free indeed. Again, we thank God for all of you, but most of all, we thank you, Shaquila Roberts, for your presentation today. We love you. And I want all of you to unmute your mic so you can repeat after me. And we're going to go to the gallery and close out. Glory be to God. Now unto him.
Now
unto him
Who's able.
who's able
To do exceedingly.
to do
exceedingly
Abundantly above.
abundantly
above
All that we can ask for.
all that we
we
can
can
ask
ask for,
Think or imagine.
think or
imagine,
According to his power.
according to his power
power
Working in me.
working
in me.
in me.
Amen. God bless you. Next week we'll be doing an upgrade, upload. So be ready for the new upload for the Zoom. We'll be going to another level. Somebody say amen. God bless you.
Amen.
Amen.
God bless you.
Bless
Love
you.
you.
Love you.